Join us for a very interesting preview of the T-Roc Convertible. Let's go! You can see here the daytime running light is in the lower end. It's just the same as with the T-Roc normal SUV with a closed top. Also the whole front, the strong T-Roc scheme right here with the big upright front grille. Then you have optional LED headlamps, the main unit here on the top. And this one here is the style. The convertible is only available as style or as R-line. We will also soon show you the R-line in depth. The length is at 4.27 meters, 14 foot or 168 inches. And the interesting thing about this one here is the wheelbase and the overall length is both 4 centimeters longer, just slightly, than the normal T-Roc SUV. You can actually twice hold the door handle and keep holding it. And so at the moment I'm still holding then the door handle, and then you can see the roof closing. So both mechanisms are actually available, and of course you can also do it from the inside. This one here, of course, a pre-production status, so here the last bit of the convertible roof will close even a little bit nicer in the final production model. And again, just 9 seconds it takes, because you know there's no separate cover then in the rear part, and up to a speed of 30 kilometers an hour. That's not, you know, like the 50 kilometers an hour we see from other sporty convertibles, but it's the same you know, speed amount than that was, for example, with the Golf convertible. And now, of course, very interesting to have this line, and again, due to those new roofs here, they can keep it rather sleek, especially here in this area, so it does not look that bulky than with the closed top. Well, the lower part here in the rear is again the same as the normal SUV T-Roc. Modern signature here also as for the tail lamp. And oh, fake exhaust alert here in the lower part. The rear one is just right here underneath. And again, the R-line, we will also show that to you very soon, looks a little bit different here also in the rear. And now to the R-line. Again, there are two styles available, either the so-called style or the R-line, of course also both in different colors. And the R-line has here a stronger lower bumper, definitely. It looks more air intake-ish right there, has an R-line badge, and also this somewhat honeycomb structure, so overall a little bit more aggressive from the front already. In comparison to the standard T-Roc, the engine portfolio here for the convertible will be somewhat limited. It starts with a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine, turbo petrol, 115 horsepower with a 6-speed manual gearbox. And this one here you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here is the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine with 150 horsepower, either with the manual gearbox we have here today, or then optional with the 7-speed DSG. And that's it so far. Maybe there will be also other engines later. The sales of this car start in spring 2020. And well, will it also be available with all-wheel drive? So far not. All is front-wheel driven. Inside of the doors, of course, frameless windows, as we know from convertibles and coupes. And then here, this one here is hardback. I mean, it is a structured surface, so it looks actually quite good. And it feels also good. They worked a little bit on that. So maybe you can see the structure, you can then feel it. So I think because it is structured, it's okay that it's hardback in this case. This interior, it looks quite similar to the one we know already from the T-Roc, from the normal one. Those seats here, beautiful job, great fabric choice with different colors, so they will keep you cool in summer and warm in winter. Definitely would go for those, or the optional R-line seats I will also show to you. So it looks good, also with some contrast stitches here. This is, the big advantage. I also like to drive sporty cars, yes, but I also enjoy this comfort here because you can get in and out very easily. And if you think about, I'm really a convertible fan, but I'm not so keen anymore to, get in a low-sitting sports car convertible, this could be the solution. I think this is also the reason why this car really makes sense, because you combine the convertible with more comfort. And, it's a little bit more upright and higher seating position than you would know from the, from a normal car. Definitely works. So yeah, why not? The interior overview here again with those colorful decor elements. Again, you can also pick other colors, but of course this is very fitting to the exterior Ravenna blue color. Pretty simple and clean, this interior. You either get a 6.5-inch screen here, optional this one here, the 8-inch one that also features a gesture control already, but still has those knobs, and that's quite good for volume. And when you are in the GPS menu actually, or here inside the map, then you can also use it for zooming in and out. Then on the left side it starts with analog instruments and optional those 11.7 digital instruments, so you have the choice there. Typical Golf steering wheel here on the right side to control the digital instruments, and left side for the cruise control and volume. And the classic climate unit, also easy to control it while driving. I like it, that way definitely. Heated steering wheel is available together with the heated seats here on one button, but you can also do it separately then in the menu, but with the hotkey then here with the button right there. In the lower end, you already have USB-C devices now too, and also a big space to put your smartphone right there, start-stop button. This one here, the 6-speed manual gearbox talked about earlier. Electric handbrake in the lower part with some non-adaptive cup holders, sadly. But overall, a good build quality we see here. Some, more hard-packed materials, that could have been done a little bit better, but other than that, everything is solid, and also the gaps and so on. It's just a prototype model here, but even for that, it's actually quite well done. Then the armrest also is quite well attached with some cubby hole inside. By the way, about safety, very important also with the convertible, the autonomous emergency brake is standard equipment, also the lane assist, so that's good. Optionally, you can, for example, get here a blind spot monitor. This car is also equipped with it, and you can see this symbol that flashes then when you want to turn and someone is approaching from the rear. And then there's also this anti-roll bar, so those parts will pop out when a certain level is reached. So there are sensors for that, so you're also safe when the car would be rolling over, which is still not that realistic, okay. But then also you have a towing hook, by the way, so they also thought of that when building this convertible. And now what about getting in the rear? Well, you have the seats here, doing like this, and you can push it in the front. But behind the driver's seats, that's not that realistic. You can see here, there's hardly any legroom left. Yeah, due to this 4-centimeter increase in wheelbase, there is more legroom left than it would be when they would have kept the same length. But it's, not really that well possible for me. So I would have to do it like this. So, spread the legs a little bit. Then it does actually work. So I can sit here. Of course, it's a little bit better when you use the co-driver seat and then have a 3-person setup, for example. So we close the roof once more, but at the same time I open the windows. That's also a cool setup here. So when I'm sitting in the rear here, that works pretty well as for the headroom. So even with my height, again 1.86 or 6'1", it's no problem here. I can easily sit here. Now we hop over to the R-line interior. You can see here something of the ambient light. And there's also a different decor element. Again, you can pick different colors for that. Here a little bit sporty, a little bit more subtle. Then you can get this one. You ultimately get this one with the R-line entry badge, and also aluminum pedals in the lower part. Everything here is quite the same, again with those other decor elements. And then those seats, those ones are special. Those ones are the special R-line seats, and they have fabric on the inside, and then those gray Alcantara accentuations right there. That feels great, looks beautiful. Again, a great seating choice. You have a little bit more side support, and the outside part is leatherette. So both choices we shown you today here are also animal friendly. That's cool. And they, again, also keep cool in summer and warm in winter times. So I can really recommend both seats. I can compare it comfort-wise. Let me take a seat right here. So let's see if that makes any difference in the seating comfort. So it also feels good. Yeah, you feel that you have a little bit more support. It's not too much or, too big of a difference. So I can, sometimes it's like, oh, the sport seat is less comfortable, or sometimes the sport seat is more comfortable. Here in this case, I think they both come somewhat close as for the seating form, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. I think it's a little bit question of style, if you want a little bit sportier style. But I think I would also be happy with the style version of the car. Although visually wise, especially with the grey Alcantara, this looks pretty much kick-ass, And the R-Line also gets this special steering wheel with the flat bottom. And this nice Alcantara styling is also continued all over the back seats. So what about the loading area? Is this critical? First of all, we flip the logo here, as we know it also from the other versions. And then you're of course limited in loading in and out. Yes, this one here is about 280 liters to compare the previous generation Evoque convertible, 250 liters, so a little bit bigger than with the Evoque. And if you compare an Audi A3 convertible, for example, that's 320 liters, so less than, for example, an A3 convertible. So we started this review with the question, does it make sense to have an SUV or a crossover convertible? And I say, yes, absolutely. The Range Rover Evoque was already very successful as convertible. And the thing is, in the past, before there were any SUVs, when people want to buy a lifestyle vehicle, they pick the convertible. And nowadays, quite often, when people want something lifestyleish, they go for SUVs. So why not combining SUVs and convertibles? And you maybe think about, first of all, there are hardly any affordable convertibles on the market anymore. Most of them are premium and really high priced. So it's really great to see another convertible which is not top end of the price list. And then, more and more people, especially if you like it, for example, a little bit older, doesn't mean that you old, just from your head. Just you maybe don't want to get in and out of a very sporty low convertible and want a little bit more comfort. And I can really understand that, especially when you're a little bit taller, you tend to get lower back pain in very, very low sitting sports car convertibles, also depending on the seat ergonomics and so on. And here it actually makes a little bit more sense to combine the comfort aspect with driving open top. So yes, there are sporty and fun convertibles on the market. This one here is more set out to give this leisure aspect with enjoying the ride, cruising with open top, not really attacking the road. That's also one of the reasons why they tend to keep with the smaller engines here. So I think, yes, the concept makes sense to me. And I would really, consider going for this one. Of course, drive it first, consider also comparing to sportier ones. Yeah, I also like to drive sporty, but not everyone does, and comfort is also very important to me. So, indeed, this could come close to my shortlist. Exterior-wise, we see in the front, looks just like the normal T-Roc, very modern, strong front. The side profile, yes, we have to admit, it looks a little bit bulkier than the Coupe, especially here with the open top. But it has a very timeless line, just a straight line, and that's rather also a timeless design. Of course, it doesn't look that sleek because it's a crossover or SUV convertible. So a sports car convertible always looks sleeker. You have to bear that in mind. But then the big advantage is you can get in and out easy. You sit a little bit more upright than in a normal car, and especially if you compare it to like an MX-5 or something, And you relatively keep low in the price, especially if you go for a lower trim version or something. And again, since they don't offer the biggest engines, also the price keeps a little bit lower. Maybe I would have wished a version where I have a little bit more punch. All-wheel drive, no one will go off-road with this car, but also not with the T-Roc Coupe or something. So you can also say, why don't they offer an all-wheel drive version or something? Yeah, maybe they'll build the T-Roc R for me. Gotta talk to Joost Capito, head of Volkswagen R, about that, I think. So, well, in the interior, I think beautiful fabric seats in this one here. We've also seen the R-Line seats, so they have good choice there. And yes, it does make sense to go for fabric seats also in a convertible, because I've never experienced a situation where I had to clean them, like from, of rain or something, you usually close the top before, especially because it goes quite fast here. And then it keeps cooler in summer, especially when you want to drive this car. Interior build quality is quite cool. Yeah, besides, this hard pack at the doors here, we talked about that before quite a lot of times. They could do that a little bit better. Other than that, it's quite nicely done from the interior as well. And you still have somewhat reasonable space, of course, limitations as for the convertible body. Overall, a very interesting car. I think a nice addition, and it's quite rare that we see a concept addition to the whole car market. Not the first one, yes, but the first one for Volkswagen. And I'm really anxious to see the impact of this vehicle. What about you? Please tell us your comments, and please also join us next time.